In a recent video, I talked about how I took a digital detox, and in that I mentioned how one of the main benefits was that I couldn't see what anyone else is doing, and it's something that I hadn't really realised would benefit me as much as it did. The word influencer is thrown around a lot these days, but I personally think you can be influenced by anyone whose content you consume, be it a content creator, a celebrity, or even an old school friend. A lot of the time, our ideas and choices are constantly being influenced and swayed without us even realising it, just from what we're seeing on a daily basis. Who you follow or view online will depend on who or what you're being influenced by. It's not to say that being influenced by what we consume is inherently bad. In fact, sometimes we can choose to let ourselves be influenced for the better, be it through consuming content that pushes us to learn a new skill, helps to motivate us to make healthier choices, or even instill us with life-improving habits. The problem occurs, however, when we no longer are conscious of what's swaying our decisions and choices. For me personally, I know I'm someone who can easily be distracted, hence the digital detox being such a helpful experience for me. Not only can I find myself getting distracted, but I can sometimes feel myself being pulled in different directions of focus too. Comparison is the thief of joy, as they say. So rather than compare and get sad about seeing someone else do something I think I'd quite like to do, I'm the type of person who will be like, that looks good, I wouldn't mind giving that a go. Maybe I should try it. Now, this may sound like a positive and proactive response, but the problem with me is I find myself doing this with so many different things. Sometimes I can't keep up with myself or anyone else for that matter. I guess it's keeping up with the Joneses, but without even being aware of it. Half the time I don't realise I'm being influenced until afterwards, and it's only in hindsight I can look back at something and say, oh yeah, maybe I only wanted to do that thing or try that because I saw someone else do it and I thought it looked good. We all want to pursue happiness and joy and fun, so it makes sense that if we see someone else finding joy doing a particular thing, that we are going to want to see if it brings joy for ourselves too. And who knows, sometimes it will and sometimes it won't. And sometimes the grass can definitely look greener, a lot greener in fact, from the other side. I think the key is finding what you want to focus on and then sticking to it in spite of all the distractions. As I say, this can be easier said than done, and it might actually be that at first you do need to try lots of things you see those around you doing and getting joy from, to then find out what is the thing that really works for you. I think what's important in this pursuit though is defining what your own values are and things that are distinctly important to you. If you haven't defined what's truly important to you first, then you may find yourself winding up down a road that is of no moral importance to you and ultimately lead you feeling a little bit lost, like, why did I think I wanted my own coffee brand? I don't even drink coffee. Actually, I do, but you get the point. I've definitely had this lack of defining what's really important happen to me before, and before taking the time to reset, I felt myself starting to bob idly along, getting dragged by the current in a direction that I wasn't particularly enthused about, with a sense of helplessness that I had no way to control it. But actually, I did, and you do too. You see, it's all too easy to find yourself setting goals based on what you think looks good, as opposed to assessing what will really feel good to you. It's basically shiny object syndrome, where you go after the thing that you think looks good on the surface, but it may not be as rewarding to you as you think, or could actually distract you from where you really need to go. And at the end of the day, as I like to now say to myself, if you make external goals, you'll get external rewards. For a time, I found myself overwhelmed by the possibilities of what I could be doing, that I wasn't focusing as much on what I really wanted to be doing or pursuing. A constant stream of information, what I thought was inspiration, seeing what house Jack had just moved into, what Jill did for their latest side hustle, and where Jimmy Bob went for their holiday had my head rattling, and it wouldn't have been the first time. There's been times in my own life where I've been distracted to the point that I've taken less action in my own personal pursuits than I could have, and I have no regrets, and I truly believe there's a lesson to be had in every part of your journey along the way. However, I have frustrated myself on more than a few occasions because I've let my own procrastination of looking at what other people are doing get in the way. When I think about the times where I have maintained focus, it's been amazing to see my visions and ideas come to fruition and ultimately bring me the fulfillment that I've desired. I find journaling and getting my ideas out onto paper really helps me to focus and eliminate. Sometimes an idea might sound good when it first pops into my head, but then once I reflect on it and ask myself why I want this, it can highlight and help me to realise where my true desires lie and whether I really want it. A good activity idea is to write down all the things you want to do in the next 3 to 6 months. Once you have your list, put them into priority order of what's most important to you and aligns with your values at the top, and with what's least important to you at the bottom. Once you have your list, select your top 3 items and focus your energy on those. You might even want to write them out separately and place them somewhere you can see them every day, just to remind yourself that these are your number 1 things to focus on right now. It's not to say that any new ideas can't be given space, it's just that by prioritising and realising what you truly value deep down, you can put these things in order and actually take action, and more importantly, make progress on the things that are most important to you. Once you have completed one of your top 3 items, you can move on to the next item in the list, and any new ideas or activities you come across in the meantime can be added to the bottom of that list until you reprioritise everything again. You can do the same exercise again after 3 months or whatever time period you have decided to give yourself. 3 key pointers to help with this exercise are to ask yourself, does this align with my values? Will this help me to get to where I want to be in the long run? Will this really bring me joy despite what it looks like on the surface? Ultimately, we're each on our own path, creating our own journey. What's actually wonderful is that no 2 journeys can ever be the same, so don't let what anyone else is doing distract you. That could mean recurating who you follow on social media, giving yourself daily reminders of what you're focusing on, or even taking a digital detox to reset, which is what really helped me. Remember to take stock of where you're heading and what you're pursuing right now. Does it align with your values and feel like you're following your own path, or do you need to reassess and see where you've maybe gotten a little bit distracted along the way? I hope you're able to find a path that feels true to you, and whatever you decide to focus on, remember, it's not about how it looks, but how it feels to you that's most important.